Good morning, beautiful souls. So today's chat is a continuation of our Healing Trauma Through the Body series. And this is video 4. And in case you missed it last time, we talked about pendulation, or what I call the dance with our emotions, or how not to get stuck in the muck. All right, so let's chat about something that is super important when it comes to exploring trauma, and that's safety and self awareness. Think of them like your trusty sidekicks on this journey, and they're here to make sure that you navigate through these rough waters with confidence and with care. And safety is key when you're dealing with sensitive stuff like trauma. Creating a safe space, or what I like to call a safe enough space, because let's face it, there's a level of unsafety that are present in all spaces. So safe enough space um, to feel physically, emotionally, and mentally safe enough is really crucial. It's like putting on a sturdy life jacket before you dive into the deep waters. And this means choosing environments and people that you trust, setting boundaries that feel right for you, and knowing when to take a break if things get too intense. We've all had those moments, I'm sure. And then there's self-awareness, which is like your compass. It's about tuning into how you're feeling physically and emotionally as you explore your trauma. Really paying attention to your body's signals, like any tightness in your chest or a knot in your stomach. It can help you to kind of gauge when you might need to slow down or take a step back. Or even pause for a little bit. And it's really about being gentle with yourself and honoring your own pace. And together, safety and self-awareness create a solid foundation for healing. And they're not just guidelines, they're tools that really empower you to navigate through these challenging emotions and memories with more resilience and self-care, and maybe that self-care that you haven't felt before. And this is your opportunity to provide that for yourself. So whether you're exploring trauma through therapy, somatic practices, or self-reflection, remember that you want to prioritize safety, and stay tuned into what you need and what your body needs along the way. And if you've experienced trauma, whether big trauma or small traumas or chronic traumas, it's totally okay to reach out for help. Seriously, think of it like having a team of superheroes in your corner. Professionals who've got the skills and the training to support you on your healing journey. I mean, look, like processing trauma is not easy, and I know that firsthand. It is not easy. And sometimes it's like trying to untangle a knot with one hand tied behind your back. And that's where an effective therapist or counselor or coach can come in. They're like the knot whisperers, helping you to unravel those tough emotions and find your way to peace. And or maybe they're just the one that holds the flashlight, so that you can see certain things. And maybe you're thinking, and I know that I thought this, I'm smart, I am a psychologist, I should be able to handle this on my own. I thought that way. And well, sure, I was strong and capable, and you're strong and capable. But even superheroes need backup sometimes. And seeking help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of courage and self-care, because I know what the messages often are. And so actually asking for support is courageous. And let's face it, when we talk about, trying to do this ourselves, How many self-help books have you bought that have never gotten read or put into practice in your life? Because even the ones that I've read, I would say that actually integrating it and making the practices a part of my life and having it shift my way of showing up in the world and my way of interacting in the world, I would say that very few books have actually done that for me. Or I should say, I have not taken what was in those books and done that for myself. And I've been there, and that's why, a lot of people joke and they call self-help shelf help, uh, because for me, there's a lot of books that just sit on my shelf. And, professionals have all sorts of tools in their tool belts, from talk therapy to somatic practices and everything in between. They've got these strategies to really help you feel heard and understood and supportive. And sometimes what we need is really that sacred witness, that person who really hears us and really connects with what we've been through. It's like having a personal guide who's there to listen, to validate your experiences and really empower you to heal. So if you've been carrying around this weight of your past experiences, or feeling stuck in patterns that just won't budge, consider reaching out and getting support. You deserve to feel lighter, to feel freer and more at peace. And you deserve to thrive, not just survive, not just go through the motions of the day. And if we're carrying this around by ourselves, like, why would we not think it's easier to have someone else help us carry it? So I would just encourage you, to take that first step, whether it's making a phone call, sending an email, or talking to a trusted friend about finding the right professional. You're not alone in this. There are people who genuinely want to help you heal and help you grow, and help you, on your path. And you're on the path to healing, one mindful step at a time, and you deserve that support, and you deserve to live your best, most empowered, most embodied life. And I think it's important to note, that, like all professions, not all therapists are the same. I often hear people say, like, I've tried therapy and it sucked, and my therapist sucked, and it didn't help. And I would just say that we all have different skill sets, we all have different passions, we all have different ways of interacting with people. And let's be honest, like where you're at on your journey depends on who you connect with, and which modalities or which ways of therapy you connect with. And there's a lot of burnout and a lot of compassion fatigue in many therapists. So maybe, a lot of times we'll say, "Oh, it must be me." If I'm not responding, it must be me. And sometimes it's not you. It's just that you aren't the right fit, for each other. Not all therapists are going to resonate with you. Not all practices or exercises are going to resonate with you, and where you're at on your journey. So I would invite you to really connect and consult with your inner wisdom when choosing someone, to walk with you on your journey, because finding the right person, is really important. And I could sit here and tell you, like, I have a doctorate in psychology. I'm working on a master's in integrative psychedelic therapy. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm a somatic experiencing practitioner, a holotropic breathwork facilitator. I'm working on my Vita coaching certification, which is the vital integrated tantric approach. And the list goes on. But let's be honest, I'm sure I lost you somewhere in there. And while I could try to impress you with my credentials, I'm sure that that bottom line, they really mean nothing. And while some of you may find safety in knowing that I have credentials, um, these are not the reasons that you should trust me or any therapist or any coach or any other professional, to guide you on this journey. Trust is what makes you feel safe, and trust is earned. And I want you to trust me because you've gotten to know me through my free content, and you know that I truly care about empowering you on your journey. I often hesitate to call myself a therapist, or a coach, or I think the word I generally prefer is guide, because while I've been there and I know where we're going, like I'm really walking beside you. And it doesn't matter how many credentials that I have if I don't resonate with you and where you are on your journey. Um, I worked with a really amazing therapist when I was working through my own trauma. And I have a lot of respect and love for her. And at some point, I realized that what she was offering wasn't helping me heal the way I wanted it to. It was kind of my joke, not with her. I didn't tell her that my therapy was my weekly cry. I would come out of a session, my face all, red and swollen, and while crying can be super therapeutic, our sessions weren't helping me as much as I wanted them to. There was something that wasn't resonating with me in it, and there was something more that I needed. I needed and really wanted, something different. I really wanted something more embodied. I had been so disconnected from my body for so long that I really wanted to get back into my body. And I wanted something more spiritual. And I don't mean religious, I mean, spiritual, like connected to a creator, connected to the world around me, connected to the people around me. I wanted something that focused more on empowering me and my inner healer. I didn't want to spend years in therapy, and I wanted more of a connection. I wanted to feel like I was sitting with a friend. And she was amazing. It's just, therapy is different. And I think more than anything, what I wanted was to be held while I cried, because that's what I didn't have when I went through some of my traumas before. Um, and for good reasons. There are a lot of boundaries in therapy. And even in my coaching practice, there's a lot of those boundaries that I take over because I think there's a good reason for them. And there's a lot of boundaries around touch. And touch is a delicate area, and it's not appropriate for everyone, especially at specific points on their journey. And there is a lot of healing that can be found with touch when we are ready and when it is appropriately, applied, when when we ask for it, and with our own boundaries. And I found a lot of healing through touch, which is why that's a topic of my chat for next week. And I hope that you found today's talk helpful. Our talk about safety and self-awareness, and really creating that support network. And I also hope that you'll join me next week for my talk on how touch can help heal trauma. And if you have found this, helpful, I would recommend that you subscribe to the channel, so that you'll get notified when the video gets posted. Because generally I try to post every Friday. I think recently I've been really, inspired, and I've been posting more frequently. And I try to keep them short so that they are manageable bite-sized bits throughout the week. But if you subscribe to the channel, then you'll get notified when I post something that I'm inspired to post. And if you found this helpful, share the video with someone you think might be struggling or might benefit from hearing this. We're all in this together, and I think that the more that we talk about our struggles and the more that we connect with other people, the more we start to normalize it, and we start to realize how we're not broken and how we're not alone. So, like sharing this video might be a way of reaching out to someone to say, A, I'm here, and B, I know what you're going through. You can also check out my website at ourworldempowered.com. The link is also in the notes below. And until next time, I'm really just sending you lots of love. And I hope that you are creating a fully embodied, sensual day. And bye for now. And until next time.